The ball just comes out for Dixon, who snaps on goal. He's got it. Tory Dixon has kicked the opening goal of the game against the Giants. Ball goes inside 50, top of the goal square. Leaping up was Taylor Dalhouse, dribbling through. I think the Cats are through the preliminary final. Siren sounds. They'll be roaring and woohooing at Punt Road tonight because the Tigers have won their second flag in 3 years. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bev's Footy Calls. And tonight, it's the reboot of the 2020 AFL season. After 81 days, Collingwood will take on Richmond at the MCG in what should be a blockbuster match. They've met the last 3 times. Collingwood have won 2 of them, but Richmond won the last encounter. So thanks for tuning in wherever you may be watching from. We might start the broadcast by going through some of the changes that have been made to our great game due to COVID-19. As implemented in round 1, 16-minute quarters plus time on. There's longer breaks between in the quarter and 3-quarter time breaks. An extra 15 seconds after goals. That will help me get a little bit of a breath before I call the next play. 26 club staff is the maximum that each club can have. The non-competing players that are not playing in the match today cannot attend the game, and social distancing will be applied to the bench and also celebrations as well. So that's some of the changes that have been made to our great game due to COVID-19. What a game it's going to be tonight. I mean, these are the 2 biggest clubs in the AFL, in my opinion anyway. Some might argue differently, but I think the numbers do show that these 2 teams are the 2 biggest clubs in the competition. So it's only fair that they meet each other and reboot the season tonight. Let's go through the teams before we make our way closer towards start time. Very excited about tonight's game. I'll start with the Collingwood team. And we'll start from the backline. Jack Crisp, Jordan Roughhead and Jeremy Howe headline the backline. At halfback, Braden Maynard, Darcy Moore and Jack Madgen. Through the centre, we've got Josh Dacos, Scott Pendlebury and Chris Main. Throughout the half-forward line, we've got Tom Phillips, Brody Myercheck and Callum Brown. And then at full forward, Jordan De Goey. Darcy Cameron is making his debut tonight and Jamie Elliott. And then on the interchange, we've got in the ruck, still side bottom, Taylor Adams, Brody Grundy. And then on the interchange, Tyler Brown, Josh Thomas, Will Hoskin Elliott, and we have also got John Noble. So that's the Collingwood team. Of course, they're coming off a massive round 1 win against the Western Bulldogs way back in March. Obviously, I don't really like talking about it because I'm a Western Bulldogs supporter, but I was really impressed with what they produced that day. And I think if they can produce the same tonight, they will go very close to beating Richmond. Speaking of Richmond, let's have a look at their team. We'll start in the backline, Nathan Broad, All-Australian defender Dylan Grimes, and also David Asprey. At halfback, Liam Baker, Nick Vlostone, and Basher Hawley. In the centre, we've got Daniel Rioli, Dion Prestia, and Jack Graham. At half forward, Shai Bolton, Shane Edwards, Jason Castagna. And then at full forward, we've got Tom Lynch, Dustin Martin, and Jack Rewalt. That's interesting. Is Dustin Martin playing more forward tonight? Could possibly be. In the ruck, we've got Ivan Soldo, Kane Lambert and Trent Cotchin. And then on the interchange, we've got Jaden Short, Jack Higgins, Sydney Stack, and of course, the grand final hero. He made his debut on grand final day last year. He kicked a goal in that match, Marlon Pickett. Looking forward to seeing him out on the ground tonight. Just looking at some of your comments, of course, feel free to send through a comment throughout the night. I will be looking at them when I can. Of course, I'll be focusing on calling the game tonight, but where I can, I will have a look at some comments. Maybe the 15 seconds in between goals might just help me do just that. Got a few people coming in. Of course, Harley has said hello. Good day, Harley. Storm for Life says good day. And it looks like Harley is a Pies fan. So welcome everyone watching tonight. The last time these two teams met way back last year in round 19, it seems like a fair way long time ago now, doesn't it? Last year in August, the game would have been, I think. Bernie and I would have called it, of course. The Pies, they were defeated by the Tigers at the MCG. The Tigers 14-14-98 to the Pies 9-12-66. Dustin Martin was the key that day. So if Collingwood is going to win tonight, they need to stop Dustin Martin. That's pretty obvious, to be honest. He kicked 2 goals, 38 disposals in the last game between the two teams. Prestia with 35 disposals. As for Collingwood, well, Jordan De Goey, he kicked 1 goal, 3 behinds, 28 disposals and 10 marks in that match between the two way back last year. We're getting closer to the reboot of the 2020 season. Looking forward to calling all the action. We'll be getting to that very, very shortly. I'm looking on my television screen and seeing Brodie Grundy. He was fantastic in the game against the Dogs in round 1. He kicked 1 goal, 3 behinds, 19 disposals and 37 hitouts. A pretty good day at the office from the number 1 ruckman in the comp, in my opinion. So, of course, we've got some other games coming up during the weekend, of course. Geelong and Hawks tomorrow night. And then a blockbuster lot of games on Saturday. And then Sunday, 3 games, ending with St Kilda taking on the Western Bulldogs. Paying tribute to Kyron, of course, sadly lost his life a couple of months ago. Don't forget the Bev Show on Sunday night on Facebook, the new time of 9 p.m. We'll be talking all about the matches that have happened in the first round back from the COVID-19 suspension. So we're not far away from start time. And I might take this opportunity now to tell you my tip. You probably would have already seen it, of course, on this YouTube channel. I did my my second edition of Bev's Footy Tips. And I revealed that Richmond is my tip for tonight's match. I'm tipping them by about 12 goals. I think it's going to be a good game. It could go either way. I liked what I saw from both teams, in particular Collingwood. I thought their performance was a lot better than Richmond's, but reigning premiers. Dustin Martin looks in great nick. He's going to be the key tonight, as well as Jack Rewalt and Tom Lynch up forward. I think they just might be a little too strong for the Pies. But as I said, it could go either way. So Trent Cotchin, the captain of Richmond, looks like he's heading into the centre with the whole team by the looks of it. The whole team is captains. Although I think this might be, of course, paying tribute to Black Lives Matter, which of course has been a dominating headline throughout the last couple of weeks. So this might be what this is all about. So if you're just tuning in, this is Bev's Footy Calls, and tonight's match is Collingwood and Richmond as they all kneel together to make a stance that Black Lives Matter in this world. So a great touch to start the reboot of the 2020 AFL season. As I said at the top of the call, I will be trying to get to some comments tonight, but do bear in mind that I will be focusing on the call. So toss of the coin, Trent Cotchin, along with Scott Penderbury. Trent Cotchin wins the toss, elects to go to the right if you're watching on your television screen. Good to see James Nichols tuning in. Jake Smart as well. Welcome to you guys. As the teams have their final words before they reboot the season. Get excited, folks. It's footy time. Yes, it's footy time and the players are making their way to their positions. Big match coming up tonight. Of course, Darcy Cameron making his debut. It's good to see Jack Rewalt back on the ground. Of course, the Tasmanian. Always a big fan of those Tasmanian players. Nathan Buckley, I wonder what's going through his head right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams perform in the early stages of this game as they're coming off a very lengthy spell. So here we go. Collingwood taking on Richmond. And the 2020 AFL season has been rebooted. Whoa, you beauty! As Dustin Martin gets a kick away, Collingwood are going to get a free kick. It's Jordan De Goey in the centre. Now he turns it over straight away here, and it's the skipper of Richmond, Trent Cotchin, taking the mark. Now he goes out wide. So, looking to play wide here. Richmond, Vlostone receives a handball. Shai Bolton tried to mark it, got spoiled. Now he collects, kick inside 50. There's a few Collingwood players there. Brodie Grundy's there as well. Ivan Soldo gets a kick towards the goal square, but they have the numbers here. Collingwood, Dacos gets a clip around the head. And it's going to be a free kick to Josh Dacos for the Pies. So the Pies getting a couple of early free kicks. He goes out to the broadcast wing. Brody Mychek nearly marked it. Slipped through his hands. Now still side bottom's got the footy. He handballs inboard. Taylor Adams. He goes to a teammate. And then he goes off wide to still side bottom, who looks down the ground. And it's been turned over nearly by Trent Cotchin. He dropped the mark to go. He tackled under pressure. Lost the footy. Now he's short. Coughs up their handball. And Collingwood might be away here. Kick inside kick inside the square from Adams. And now Phillips. Over to Main. Took a while for him to pick it up, but he got there in the end. Kicks to a one-on-one. Darcy Cameron. Can he start with a goal? Maybe not. He's lost it. Basher Hawley kicks it into the man I was just talking about, Darcy Cameron. And it ricochets off him and goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. So a bit of a hot start early, to be honest. It was in Richmond's forward 50 a moment ago. Now it's in Collingwood's forward 50. Brodie Grundy. Chance here for Taylor Adams to kick the first goal of the game. You betcha. Collingwood on the board with the first goal. James Nichols says this is going to be a ripper-dipper match. And Jake Smart giving me the works because I've tipped the Richmond by 12 goals. So Collingwood with the first goal of the match against the reigning premiers. Let's have a look at the replay. Let's dissect the replay if you're not watching on telly. And that was a beautiful hit out by Grundy straight to Taylor Adams. And he went bang. Bang, bang, bang for the first goal of the match. So back in the middle. Collingwood up by 6 points, and that's not the greatest of bounces from the umpire. So he'll throw it up. Brodie Grundy and Soldo in the ruck. Up it goes. Soldo leapt high. Now Brown. It's Callum Brown lurking, but Richmond's got possession. Dustin Martin fumbled it, lost it, then gave the don't argue and got a scrappy little kick to Basher Hawley. Now he kicks it high, close to the line. Maynard tried to mark Lambert. Good handball to Cotchin. Then he was under pressure. Now De Goey. He's got the footy. He handballs it off to Madgen, who's under pressure, and the umpire's going to come in here, and I think he's going to ball it up. Yes, he will. So the quick throw up by the umpire. No one really won that ruck contest. Now pressed here inside 50. Nearly cut off by Howe. Chance here for the Pies through Dacos. Now Roughhead got a handball away. Dacos again has got the footy. Now Howe got a kick away. But it might just come back here because Asprey's got the footy. Handballs it off to Prestia. High ball inside 50. Moore is there. Was punched out. Rewalt. In fact, it's Rewalt tried to gather it. Now kick goes inside 50. Main tries to gather the footy. Lost it. Dustin Martin lurking. Got a handball away. But Noble, very good defensive work. Got it to Pendlebury. Now he handballed it off to Main. Then he kicks it down the wing. There's a pack of players there forming. Vlostone was able to gather the footy and off he goes. He kicks it inside 50. It's close to the line. And Shy Bolton marks the footy just outside 50. For the Tigers. Now he looks inside 50. It's a kick to the top of the goal square. Good mark. Stretch of the arms by Jeremy Howe. So they can just reset here, the Pies. Howe, short to Crisp. Wearing the blonde hair tonight. Now he goes out wide. Broadcast side to still side bottom. And then he goes short to a teammate. It's Josh Dacos. He's got a bit of the ball early, Josh Dacos, especially in the defensive 50. Now, Callum Brown's got the footy. Of course, we've got the two Brown brothers out there tonight. Callum Brown, number 17, and Tyler Brown, number 6. Kick down the line. Grimes. Off his hands to Vlostone. Now he goes to Rioli. And now down the line by Short. It nearly hits Asprey, I think it was. Now Castagna handballs it in front of Grimes. And Grimes, dinky little kick, but it worked out in the end. Handball over from Castagna to Rewald. Rewald just don't know where he was kicking that. He kicked it across the goal face. Martin is there, though. And then Martin composes himself and turns it over. And cutting it off was Tom Phillips. Now he is called to play on. Goes to the back pocket. Chris Main's there. So Chris Main inboard to Jack Madgen. Now switching it over to the flank and marking the footy as Crisp. They're going to go out to the broadcast side here, Collingwood. Crisp. Good mark by Will Hoskin-Elliott. I hear he's going to be potentially playing for the Tasmanian Devils soon. He kicks it up the wing. Brodie Grundy the target. Couldn't quite mark it. Now one of the Brown brothers. It's Tyler Brown. He's been nailed to the ground. And what's the umpire going to do here? He's going to ball it up. No prior. So Collingwood with the first goal through Adams. Madgen. Kick. Good kick. And good mark. Brodie Myercheck just outside 50. So Brodie Myercheck, what will he do here? He might just go for goal. He's going to kick it in that direction. It's not going to make the distance or the accuracy. It goes overheads and nearly bounces into the point post. It's been kept in, though. And a tackle made by DeGoey on Broad, I think it was. It's going to be balled up by the umpire. So ball up, forward pocket for the Pies. Leaping up was Soldo. Tried to hook up to Basher Hooley. Now Adams, he had it, he lost it. Now Richmond back in possession here. Vlostone out wide. Back pocket, kicks it down the wing. Oh, good mark, solid mark. And there he is, Jack Higgins. Great to see him back out there tonight. Of course, 2 rounds of brain surgery. Kicks it down the line, but it's been turned over by Chris May. I think the kick was intended for the skipper, Trent Cotchin. Now Adams, close to the AFL logo. Goes back out wide. Myercheck the target, but good stuff from Marlon Pickett. Spoils it out of play. And both teams are going to reset. So Collingwood winning the kicking efficiency battle at the moment, 63%. As the clock ticks under 10 minutes. So the umpire's called a free kick here after the ruck contest. It looks like it's going to be a free kick to Richmond. And it looks like it might be going to Ivan Soldo, who's in the team tonight. No Toby Nankervis, of course. So Soldo. Grimes to a teammate. Now he goes over to Basher Hooley. Basher Hawley now. Down the line. Moore with the spoil. Chance here for Dacos. Good stuff, Dacos. And then the kick nearly worked. And now Brown off to Thomas, who got the 1-2. And then his kick's been smothered. And now with the footy is Tom Phillips. And has he been paid a free kick? He has. Head over the ball. He's been taken high. And Tom Phillips is going to get a chance to kick Collingwood's second goal of the match. And in fact, the second goal of the game. So Tom Phillips, 24 years of age. This will be for his 40th career goal. He's played 76 games. Let's see what he can do here. He's about 45 metres out. That kick looks good, and it's there. So Tom Phillips kicks Collingwood's second goal. They're off to a good start here, the Pies. So running you through the replay. And Tom Phillips just taken too high. Good kick from the lad in the black and white. So Collingwood 2 straight. We haven't seen any behinds yet. And we're about 10 minutes into the match, nearly 11. So back in the middle we go. And that's a good bounce by the umpire. Soldo won that easily. But Grundy, oh, he gets the clearance. Grundy inside 50. That's a good mark, maybe. No, it's not. By Myercheck. Pendlebury was there to go. He has the footy. Lost it. Baker tackled down to the ground. Gee whiz. Was that a mark? Benefit of the doubt, I suppose. So a ball up inside 50. Soldo and Grundy. Soldo won that one. Cotchin had come off his legs. Trying to grab the footy there was Graham for Richmond. And then they're all piling on it. Martin's calling for holding the ball. It's Adams with the footy and he's been pinged. So Shai Bolton is getting a free kick. Adams a bit hesitant to hand the ball over as Bolton plays on and looks to the broadcast side instead. He kicks it over there. Marlon Pickett to Dustin Martin. Now Dustin Martin just waits. He decides to kick a high ball inside 50 pack of players. Howe coming in from the side. Darcy Cameron's there playing a little bit of defence. Lynch gets a kick away and it's been kicked to the left side of the goals and that's the first behind of the match. So Richmond on the board, but it's not what they were hoping for. It's a behind. A quick kick from Lynch didn't quite work out. Kick out comes out to the broadcast side. Rioli has Dustin Martin for support. Instead, Rioli kicks it out of bounds on the full and Collingwood's going to get a free. So 63% of kicking efficiency to Collingwood. They're making the most of it here. They're playing very well, the Pies, as Darcy Cameron gets the mark at centre half back. Now he looks out to the flank. He's got Roughhead. He kicks to him. Roughhead marks. He sends it down the far wing. And that's a very good mark by Will Hoskin-Elliott. Hoskin-Elliott looks up. Kicks it down the line. And is that out of bounds on the full? We'll have to wait to see what the umpire says. I think it might have just bounced in before it went out, and it did. So it's a boundary throw in. Centre wing on the far side of the Melbourne cricket ground. How good is it to be back at the home of footy? Darcy Cameron, it looks like he's in the ruck. Kick, high ball inside 50, and Basher Hawley taking a mark. A good one from him, of course, one of the experienced players out there. Now Richmond make their way out wide. Higgins, great to see him back, as I mentioned tonight. Kicks to a one-on-one, it's Dusty and Howe. Dusty wins the battle. Brilliant stuff by Dustin Martin. Now he looks inside 50. Instead, he goes inboard to a teammate. And that's a very good mark by Richmond. I think it might be potentially short. Now he kicks it inside 50 and more. That's a very good spoil. And the spoil goes out of play for a boundary throw in inside 50 for the Tigers. Looking back at the contest just a moment ago, Dustin Martin, Jeremy Howe, and Dustin Martin, very good mark from him, of course. He's had a great isolation period. He's been keeping fit as Maynard clears it out of there. Bouncing ball. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to be to the Pies, and it's going to be to what looks to be, I think it might be Dacos. So Dacos out wide. Still side bottom has the footy. He's had a bit of the footy so far, still side bottom. He's been in amongst it early, as a lot of Collingwood players have been. So kick up the line, pack of players, Grundy there as well as Darcy Cameron. Now coming into gather the footy was Broad. Lynch now, kick up the line, it's close to the line. Dustin Martin's there. Madgen held him off. And the ball was bounced over the line for a boundary throw-in. So, just over 15 minutes gone in the first quarter. 5 minutes to play. Boundary throw-in, it's Lynch in the ruck with Brodie Grundy. Brodie Grundy clearly won that one, but Lynch was able to get a handball to Lambert, who got a stinky little kick away. Now Castagna Maynard trying to work his way out of trouble. And the umpire has deemed it no prize, so it's going to be a ball up. So Lee Fisher to ball it up. Lynch and Grundy. Grundy won that one easily. Ball at ground level. Dustin Martin got a handball away, but Noble was able to grab it. And then a quick hands to still side bottom. Now he goes out in front to Brown. It's Callum Brown it is. And then he gets it to Noble. Noble runs into trouble. Still side bottom. Just kicks it off the ground. And it's a 2-on-1 favouring Collingwood. And falling to the ground there for Richmond was Graham. And then a beautiful kick from the Pies into Tom Phillips, who has already kicked one goal for the match, and that's a great bit of play by Dacos, who got the kick to him. What about Graham? Falling to his backside. So a chance here for Tom Phillips to kick the third goal of the match, his second goal of the match. He's on a slight angle, and he has hit the post. So Collingwood get it behind, and it's a 2-goal difference again. So quick kick out from Richmond. And now Baker with the footy. Short kick to Grimes. Of course, all-Australian defender. He was superb last season, especially with Rance retiring, or actually being injured early last season. De Goey has been tackled down, and it's going to be a ball up, says the umpire. Collingwood with a lot of the footy early. 60 disposals to 52. As Trent Cotchin gets a clearing kick from the scrimmage. Howe nearly leaped to take the mark. Instead, he decided to spoil. De Goey tackled down, lost the footy. Now still side bottom. Gang banged. And there's a bit of biff. A bit of biff between the two biggest clubs in the AFL as the umpire balls it up. Grundy. Dacos, kick inside 50, pack of players, it comes off hands, Brown, De Goey! He's missed it. He's missed the lot. So out of bounds on the full from Jordan De Goey. Gee, it would have been a great goal if he had have executed it, but he didn't. And now taking the free kick is David Asprey. So Asprey goes down the wing, far wing at the G, Rewo at the back, but keeping his composure was the debutant, Darcy Cameron, and he marks the footy. So Darcy Cameron looks inside 50. High footy. Soldo got his mitts to it. Quick handball to still side bottom! Collingwood have got the first 3 of the match. Beautiful bit of play. Tom Phillips in amongst it. And Collingwood are up by 3 goals. Who saw this coming early in the first? So, what a great goal. And it all started by Phillips to Brown, Callum Brown that is, and then still side bottom, finishing it all off. So 3-1-19 to Richmond, 1 behind. They're looking a bit sluggish, the Tigers, I must admit. And Collingwood right now are all over them. They've had the last 3 inside 50s, 4 of the last 5. And they've got it again here. Pendlebury receives a handball from De Goey. Gets a kick inside 50. It's a high ball. Asprey got a mitt to it. Now Myercheck trying to bustle his way through, but Vlostone is not letting him. And it's going to be a ball up. A ball up deep inside 50 for the Pies. Hope you're enjoying this one. Bev's Footy calls. And the Pies are currently leading. Still side bottom receives a handball. It was a dribbly looking kick. It got to Cochin. Now he sends it out of there. Hoping for someone to collect and then run it towards the 50. Castagna's there. So is Rewalt. But the ball dribbles its way out of play. The game not over yet, Jake. It's only the first quarter, mate. It's only the first quarter. And Rory Sport coming in and saying, go the Pies. Of course, going to read some of your comments out throughout the night where I get a chance as Taylor Adams gets a free kick. So Taylor Adams quickly kicking it inside 50. It's a high ball. Will someone mark for the Pies? Let's have a look. Myercheck nearly did. Now a chance here for Brown. Brown. Callum Brown. Callum Brown has kicked Collingwood's 4th goal. And all of a sudden the Tigers are in trouble. The reigning premiers are in strife early in this one. This is an unbelievable start. Did not see this coming at all, I must admit. And it takes you back to that win against the Dogs in round 1. It just looks like Collingwood hasn't lost anything from that performance right now. As we have a look at the replay, Myercheck nearly marked. Look at this from Brown. Absolutely scrumdiddly-umptious. Can't believe I'm using that word early in this match. There's 1:43 to go on the clock. Look at the fans if you're watching on telly. Look at them watching from their homes. Of course, no crowds tonight, as we know. And they might get another clearance here, Collingwood. Adams' kick wasn't great. Basher Hawley. Oh, that's not a great kick. It's been cut off by Dacos. Now he goes inboard to Brodie Grundy. Brodie Grundy killing it right now. Now that kick wasn't great. And now Stack comes up with the footy. Sydney Stack. Burns one, kicks it inside 50, top of the goal square. Dustin Martin there, but he's being heavily tagged by Howe. Darcy Moore now gathers the footy. Quick hands to Jordan Roughhead, of course, the former Dog, and then he sends it straight to Dacos. That's a very good mark. Gee, Dacos is in amongst it early, isn't he? Now he gives it off, and then the quick kick to Taylor Adams. He's in amongst it early as well, Taylor Adams. Now he kicks it up the line. Broad is there, as well as Tyler Brown. Now Myercheck. Gave the handball off. And then I think it might have been Dacos to Brodie Grundy. Now Brown. Tyler Brown, that is. Myercheck. Dribbly little kick inside 50. Vlostone, good work to retrieve the footy. Now he handballs it off to Asprey. And then the mark by Richmond. And it is Nathan Broad with the footy. So Nathan Broad. Short to Sydney Stack. 20 seconds to go in the first term. Richmond haven't kicked a goal. Can they kick one on the verge of quarter time? They're going to have to be quick. Stack Kicks it down the line. Lynch with his strong arms. Couldn't quite mark it. And the ball dribbles out of play with 7 seconds remaining. It's going to be a boundary throw-in. So back in it comes. Grundy and Soldo. Grundy won that one easily. The siren's going to sound here. And it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable start by the Pies. They have shocked the reigning premiers early. And there is a lot of work to do from a Richmond point of view. Collingwood 4-1-25 to Richmond 0-1-1. Yes, it's one behind by the reigning premiers. So a lot to dissect from that first quarter. As I said just a moment ago, it doesn't look like Collingwood have lost anything from that win against the Dogs. That's how it feels early on. Of course, it's only one quarter down. But they are well on top at the moment. So, great to see lots of people tuning into my call. Just a reminder, I cannot show the vision. I've had a couple of people asking for me to show the vision. I cannot show any vision. It is copyright if I do. And unfortunately, I will not be able to call the game at all if I was to show the game. So rules are rules. Going to take a short break here on Bev's Footy Calls. We'll be back after this with the second quarter. It's the Pies by 4 goals against the reigning premiers at quarter time in the game that has rebooted the 2020 AFL season. Welcome back to the Bev's Footy calls. Tonight, Collingwood taking on Richmond, and Collingwood have blown Richmond away early, 4-1-25 to 1 behind at quarter time. Let's just go through some of the stats. I'll start with the goals. And, of course, Collingwood, all the goals in that quarter. Singles to Adams, Callum Brown, Tom Phillips, and Steele Sidebottom. And the only score was Tom Lynch's behind late in that term. Well, having a look at the stats, and Collingwood have just dominated the disposals early. The first five leading disposal getters are all Collingwood players. Adams, he had a fair bit of it, of course, 1 goal to go with 11 disposals. If you're a fantasy lover, then he is sitting on 43 fantasy points. Dacos, he was, I mentioned during the call, he was having a fair bit of it as well. 9 disposals, 35 fantasy points. Callum Brown, 8 disposals. Tom Phillips with 8 disposals, and Steele Sidebottom with 8 disposals. Of course, Callum Brown, Phillips, and Steele Sidebottom all kick singles, as I mentioned. And as for Richmond, well, the leading disposal getter is Trent Cotchin with 7 disposals. So if you're a Richmond fan, you will not be liking what you are seeing at the moment. Collingwood in charge at the moment. We'll have to wait and see how Richmond respond to it in the second quarter. Dimmer Hardwick just taking a little bit of extra time to speak to his troops. It's just great to have the footy back. How good was that first quarter? One-sided or not, it's great to have the footy back, and looking forward to the rest of the games that are coming up in this round. Having a look at some comments. As I said before, it's great to see everyone tuning in to the first edition of Bev's Footy Calls for season 2020. Can't believe Richmond didn't score a goal. I know, it's absolutely unbelievable. Someone asking about the message retracted. It means they've deleted the message. I know it's simplified season, but goals quarter, yes. And Jake Smart, very happy with his team at the moment. What a great first quarter by my mob. Hopefully they'll provide more greatness in the second quarter. We've also got Matthew McMillan coming in saying, hey, Bev, and no defence says Cats to win it all. I don't think Cats will win the premiership, but I think they'll win their next 4 matches. Now, I can see at the MCG, the Zoom calls of fans is on the side screens there. So that's a pretty good touch by the Collingwood Football Club tonight. Underway in the second quarter, and it's Collingwood leading by 4 goals as Trent Cotchin gets a handball away. Coming in was Main. Then he got it to Pendlebury, the skipper. Pendlebury a little bit quiet in that quarter. Handballed it off to Howe. Now Howe just sends it down the line to the top of the centre square. Falls to ground level. Trying to gather the footy is Josh Thomas, but it looks like it's going to be a free kick to Richmond rather. And it looks like Nathan Broad is going to get the free kick. So Broad goes out to the far wing. Soldo. Out wide to Edwards. Now Edwards hit up a teammate there. I can't quite see who it is. It's sometimes it's hard to see on the telly sometimes. Whoever it is, he kicks it inside 50. Brodie Grundy, good spoil. And then it went straight to Steele Sidebottom. This is where they're dangerous here, the Pies. As soon as they get a spoil in, they go. Main, Howe, Moore fumbled it. Gee, they were away there until Moore fumbled it. And the ball has been forced out of play by Darcy Moore, and it's going to be a boundary throw-in just inside the Tigers' forward 50. So ball back in. Grundy wins the tap. Marlon Pickett tried to gather it. Now coming in to gather the footy is Taylor Adams, and it's going to be a ball up. I thought it was going to be a free kick there, but it's going to be a ball up by the umpire. So Soldo got a touch to it, but the umpire has called for a free kick, and it's going to go to Brodie Grundy. Brodie Grundy, 10 hit-outs so far in the match. He goes down the line. Richmond had the numbers, though. Hawley had Thomas breathing down his neck. He was able to get a handball off. Now Broad sends it high up in the air, and that's gone out of bounds on the full. Basically where the interchange is, and Braden Maynard is going to take the free kick for the Pies. So the Pies sending it down the line. It comes off hands. Stack got rid of it. Collingwood had the numbers though to mop up. Maynard to still side bottom. He tries to find Main. Instead it goes to Adams. Now Madgen to side bottom to Pendlebury. Maynard out wide. Maynard kicking it towards the debutant in Darcy Cameron. Of course, a former Swan now playing for the Pies. He's taken the mark. He's a bit outside 50. Handballs it off to Maynard. Maynard kicks it to the top of the goal square. Coming into market very well with Shane Edwards. Superb stuff from him. Now he goes out wide. Prestia, I think it is, has the footy. Now he kicks down the line. Oh, Rewalk nearly marked it. Had Darcy Moore to beat. Still side bottom comes in. Now Noble finds some room to get a quick kick away. Pendlebury now the skipper. He's getting involved in this game now, Scott Pendlebury. And now he goes into the centre square and Jeremy Howe's there to take the mark. They're switching it over here to the broadcast side, the Pies. But they're going to have to be clean about it because they've kicked it to where Dusty is. Oh, Maynard tries to keep him on and he shits his pants. He shits his pants, Braden Maynard. Drops the footy. Luckily for Collingwood, they got it, but it was Main who coughed it up. Now Castagna's handball wasn't great, but Martin picks it up. And now here's Marlon Pickett. The last time I called his name was in the AFL Grand Final, and then he pops it to Lynch. Lynch couldn't mark it. It bounces over the line for a boundary throw-in, and what about that, eh? What about that? In fact, it's going to be a free kick. Tom Lynch is going to get a chance to kick the Tigers' first goal of the match, and it will come in the second quarter. So Tom Lynch, 317 career goals. Lining up this for the first goal for the Tigers. He's got it. They needed that. They needed that and they got it. So Richmond at long last on the board. And we're seeing on the TV screen right now the Richmond supporters going nuts via Zoom. Great to see. And congratulations to Channel 7 for getting that initiative up and running. So back in the centre we go. There's been no goals at the right side of the MCG so far. Short gets a handball off. Marlon Pickett. Edwards. Handball wasn't great. And Brown made the most of it. Now Brodie Grundy. Lost the footy. Edwards gets a handball off to Asprey. Now Marlon Pickett inside 50. Howe was there. Tried to mop it up. Maynard's got the footy now. Handballs it off to Roughead. Now Roughead to fullback. He goes to Moore. And now Moore to Noble, I think it is. Now Brodie Grundy. Howe. Moore. They make their way outside the defensive 50, the Pies, and now their centre wing broadcast side and taking the mark is Darcy Cameron. So Darcy Cameron beating his opponent, David Asprey. He's looking for an option, Darcy Cameron. He's looking someone to kick it to. Brodie Myercheck the target. He nearly marked it, Brodie Myercheck. He was able to get the handball off to Pendlebury. Now here's Jamie Ellett receiving the handball from Pendlebury. Squares it up. It got there. It got there. It got there. It got to Tom Phillips and he was able to dribble it through. And Collingwood have got another. Collingwood have got their fifth goal of the game. Well, how about that? Collingwood from the defensive 50 to the forward 50 in fine style. And what about Brodie Myercheck? Couldn't quite mark it, but was able to maintain possession and get the handball off to Pendlebury, and it all went from there. Beautiful bit of play from the Pies. So Tom Phillips has got his second goal of the game. He could have 3 if he didn't miss that one that hit the post. Incredibly unlucky. And what about this game? We've only seen the 2 behinds. So maybe no crowds, and the silence at the footy is working in terms of goal kicking. We haven't had a lot of set shots though, in all due respect. So a stoppage to start. Lee Fisher balling it up. No one got a touch to that. Darcy Cameron was able to gather it and then bust his way through and get the handball off to Dacos. But Cochin was there to cut it off. Now Basher Hooley lost the footy. Grimes just comes in and toe pokes it. And then that's a great mark by Jack Higgins. He's in the centre square. He looks inside 50. He looks to go quickly. And then he goes to the man, Dustin Martin. Of course, the one-time Brownlow medalist, but Moore was able to mop up. Now Noble. Now Magin to Howe. Howe now down the line. Ball falls to ground. Noble came to collect the footy. And now being wrapped up. In fact, it was being wrapped up for the Tigers was a player. Now Dacos. It slips out for him. He gets a dribbly kick away. And it's going to be a ball up for the Pies. Tom Phillips has been tackled down to the ground. So Pendlebury tackled down by Soldo, and we're going to have another stoppage. We are going to have another stoppage on the AFL logo. Nearly 10 minutes played in this second term. Still side bottom. Now Darcy Cameron gets a kick away. It's a high ball. Bubbling footy. Baker comes away with it. Looks down the ground. And that's a good kick down the ground, and taking the mark was Edwards. Now Higgins with the footy. He decides to go back inside the defensive 50. Grimes. Handball over the top. Now Asprey. Down the wing. Main got a spoil to it, and then it's gone out of play for a boundary throw-in. So 31-7. Collingwood leading. Back into play. Rewalt. Over to Prestia. Prestia was able to hold off Pendlebury and then get a kick away, but that was a shocking kick. And that will be a free kick to the Pies. Prestia kicking it out of bounds on the full. So kick comes down the line. There was someone at the back there spoiling it. Now still side bottom gathers it. Noble back to side bottom. Then side bottom looks down the ground, and it's Elliott who takes the mark. Chester. He then kicks it inboard. It's been cut off. It was intended for Phillips, but it's been cut off by Richmond. They might get it back here though, Collingwood. Still side bottom. Finds some space to get the handball away. Darcy Cameron fumbled it. And then Rewald's got the footy. And it's going to be a free kick to the Tigers. So a free kick to the Tigers. Looks like it might be Lambert with the free kick. He kicks it down the line. Marlon Pickett was there. It falls to Rewalt. Handball over the top. Castagna. He can be dangerous. He can kick goals. And he's been taken high. Jeremy Howe takes him around the neck. And Castagna is going to get a free kick on a tough angle. Jason Castagna. This would be a huge goal if he was able to kick this. It's on a tight angle. It's going to take some effort. He decides to pop it to the top of the goal square. Moore marked it. It's been paid in the end. He did drop it, but he held it on long enough for it to be a mark. So he goes out to the wing, and it's been cut off. Kick has been cut off by Richmond. It's Graham. Now Graham kicks it to the top of the goal square, hoping for Litch. Pies fly everywhere. Now, Noble, I think it was, to Main. Now Pendlebury. They've been able to clean out here, the Pies. And they'll have the footy here, the Pies. So, Pendlebury again. Receives a kick. He's just on the half-back flank. He kicks it down the line. Pack of players. Will Hoskin-Elliott's there, so is Vlostone. Now Short, I think it was. Gets the handball close to the boundary line. Main was able to handball it off to side bottom. Now Noble. Noble kicks close to the line. Grimes was able to get a handball off to Edwards. Edwards kicks it down the line. Higgins was out the back, couldn't mark it because it was intercepted. Now Bolton, very clean handball. Castagna, who had it a moment ago, that's clever. And now Tom Lynch has the footy. 1 goal, 1 behind. He's kicked all the Tigers' score so far. And he's got a chance to kick his second goal of the game and the second goal for the Tigers. Now, I just want to apologise. I think I've been calling Jack Crisp John Noble, so I do apologise for that. They've all got blonde hair out there for the Pies. So it can get a bit confusing at times, but I'll try and be better. As Tom Lynch, about 40 metres out on a tight angle, and he's got it. Tom Lynch has kicked the Tigers' second, and he's second of the match. Thanks, Lockie B. He says, this is awesome. And thanks, Greg, for saying, love your work. And Luke says, a much improved Collingwood. They definitely do look good early, that's for sure. But the Tigers have kicked 2 goals to 1 goal. Now, what's going on here? Brodie Grundy getting a bit of a rub. Gee, I hope he's not in trouble. In fact, he's not, because he's back out there and in the ruck and ready to go. So just getting a nice little massage to keep him going. So the Tigers have kicked 2 of the last 3. But Collingwood still hold a pretty good lead at the moment. Back in the middle we go. Sold on Grundy. Grundy won that one clearly. Now Adams. Grundy to Brown. Oh, good mark, Myercheck. Brown went inside 50. Myercheck took the mark. And the Tasmanian has a chance to kick his first goal of the game and join in on the goal sheet. Getting the clearance was Tyler Brown. Of course, there's 2 Browns out there tonight. So he's directly in front here, Myercheck, but he is about 45 metres out, and that kick is not the greatest. It's a behind, and Richmond quickly play on. Vlostone to Basher Hawley. Bolton nearly marked. There's been a free kick paid, though. Bolton's going to get the free. He's been held, I think. So Bolton plays on quickly. Takes the ball and plays on quickly. Now Hawley, quick hands. Trent Cotchin looks inside 50. Chance perhaps for another goal for the Tigers. No, it's not. Because Jack Madgen took a great defensive mark. Brilliant bit of play. We've got a few Jacks out there tonight. He's one of them. He kicks it to the interchange side. And out the back, I think it might have been in fact, it might have been Lambert. Now, Tyler Brown kicking it to the man on the mark. It was David Asprey, and that's going to be a ball in because the ball has went out of play. So back in it goes. Brodie Grundy. Adams tackled down. And he's been locked up by Marlon Pickett. And that's going to be a ball up. And we're going to have a stoppage with about 4 minutes to go in the second term. Grundy. Martin lurking. Then got a handball away. But he gave it to the opposition. And now Collingwood in a high ball inside 50. My check was there. Marlon Pickett ends up with the footy though. Now Martin. Martin working his way around opponents. And then again, he's turned it over. It's into the hands of Braden Maynard. So Maynard turns it over. Basher Hawley takes the mark. He goes quickly. Handballs to Martin. Now that's a better kick from Dusty. A better kick. Castagna marks. Outside 50. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Lynch is there. Howe is there to spoil it. And the ball bounces out of play for a boundary throw in. Forward pocket region for the Tigers. So back into play. Grundy. Crisp. Side bottom. Went out wide. And that ball's been forced out of play. And Maynard has just sat his opponent down. As the ball went out of play, I couldn't quite see who it was. Still side bottom working overtime tonight. He's been in every part of the grounds. Soldo grabbed it out of the ruck. That's hard to do. But it's going to go straight to Grundy because it's a free kick to him. So Grundy out wide. Noble. John Noble. Kicks it down the line close to the boundary line. Marlon Pickett's there and Marlon Pickett marks. Beautiful. By the grand final debutant. Now he goes inboard. Main has speckied. Main has taken a flyer. I might have over-exaggerated, but gee whiz, he leaped. And now Crisp. Down the line. Howe's got the footy now. Good kick. Will Hoskin-Elliott takes the mark. Now he goes inboard to Madgen. No troubles in marking that. He's called to play on here, Jack Madgen. Kicks it down the line. Packer players forming. Grimes is there, so is Myercheck. Elliott out the back. And it's forced out of play for a boundary throw-in. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh my goodness gracious me. Chris Mayne has just kneed Jack Higgins in the back of the head while taking an absolute flyer. So Pendlebury gets a handball away. Cotchin comes in, gets a handball away. It only went to the opposition skipper. Now he goes out wide to still side bottom. Side bottom runs, rings around Prestia, then gets a kick inside 50, and that's a really good defensive mark by the grand final debutant, Marlon Pickett. Now he goes out wide. There's Rewalt there, but he couldn't quite mark it. John Noble takes them on, gets it to side bottom. Side bottom's kick is close to the line and Grimes spoils it out of play. So a chance here to reset. Inside 50 for the Pies. Still side bottom with 17 disposals. He currently is the highest disposal getter in the game at the moment. Taylor Adams with 13. DeGoey taken high by Kane Lambert. And DeGoey is going to get a free. And look at Dimmer if you're watching on telly. Look at him go nuts. He's not happy about that one. He is not happy indeed. The reboot has officially happened. And they're all deep in this game now. As Jordan DeGoey kicking from outside 50. He's going to have to kick long. He's going to have to kick strong. It hasn't made the distance in the end and it's come off hands and forced through for a behind. So Richmond play on quickly from the kick out as they so often done this game. As someone slid to the ground as they kicked it. Richmond have gotten away with it though. And they're out the wing. I think it might be Jack Rewalt with the footy. Moore with the spoil. Noble got a handball away. Edwards had it, lost it. Now Jack Higgins, dinky little kick inside 50, but it worked. To come off hand, Soldo there. Oh, somehow the ball gets to Lynch, and Lynch dribbles it through. Dribble, dribble, dribble. And with 28 seconds on the clock, Richmond get another. And all of a sudden, it's now a 14-point lead to the Pies. So that's his third goal, Tom Lynch. He's kicked all the goals tonight and he's kicked all the points as well. 3 goals, 1. That's exactly what Tom Lynch is sitting on if you look at the goal sheet. How that got to him is remarkable. So Richmond have just worked their way back into the contest here in this second quarter. They have outscored the Pies. Of course, still a bit to go in this second term. So Main, Pendlebury, high ball to the forward flank. It comes off hands. Now Phillips, Thomas, lost it. Baker pounced. He got the handball away. Rewalt had it. He lost it. He put under pressure by Roughhead. And now the kick has been put in the direction of Pendlebury. But locking him up was Prestia. And it's going to be a ball up inside the centre square with 4 seconds to go on the clock. So what a first half it's been. It's been Collingwood's first half, that's for sure. Because they lead at half-time. 5-3-33. They kicked the first four goals of the match. They left the Tigers scoreless in the first term. The Tigers have just worked their way back into the second quarter, but they do trail the Tigers 3-1-19. So, really looking forward to the second half after that. It's great to have footy back. It really is great to have footy back. And Collingwood, Richmond at the MCG, you couldn't ask for much more to reboot the season. It's been a good contest so far. As I said, Richmond working their way back into the contest in that second quarter. So just repeating the halftime score. 5-3-33, the Pies lead the Tigers 3-1-19. Still Sidebottom has had 19 disposals. He's been fantastic. He's kicked 1 goal, 63 fantasy points if you love your fantasy, if you love the game, I should say. Lost for words there. Adams with 13 disposals and Main with 13 disposals. He took a ripper-dipper mark there in the back end of that second term. Cochin is the leading disposal getter for the Tigers. He has 12 disposals. And then Pendlebury also has 12 disposals. So the two skippers there sitting on the same amount of disposals. So, looking forward to the second half. We'll be taking a break very shortly. As we see Collingwood make their way off the ground. They'll be pretty pleased of themselves. Especially with that first quarter. But of course, games aren't won at half time. So there's a lot to play for in the second half. So Collingwood lead 33-19. We'll be back soon for the second half. Enjoy your halftime break. Welcome back to Bev's Footy Calls, and this is the first edition of the 2020 season. Funny how it comes in June, doesn't it? But we've had no footy for 81 days. It's great to have it back. And at the halftime break, it is Collingwood leading Richmond 5-3-33 to 3-1-19. I'm going to answer some comments very, very shortly, so send some comments in and I will have a gaze of them and answer them if they are appropriate, of course. Thanks to everyone that has tuned in. But just recapping the major ball winners, side bottom with 20. He's dominating at the moment. Main and also Taylor Adams with 13. And as for the Tigers, Cochin, Basher, Hawley and Martin, they are in amongst the major ball winners. Cochin with 12, Hawley with 12 as well, and Martin with 10. So, what a great start it has been for the Pies. Of course, the first 4 goals of the first quarter. Tigers working their way back into the match in the second quarter. Looking forward to the second half. But now let's get into some comments. And Jack comes in and says, Bev, what game are you most excited for over the weekend? Probably the Western Bulldogs and St Kilda, to be honest, and that's a bit of a biased view because I obviously am a Western Bulldogs supporter, but I'm really eager to see how they go, considering the fact that they did get beaten by Collingwood in round 1, and it wasn't just getting beaten, it was getting beaten by a very large margin. It was a disappointing result. It was something I didn't see coming. It was below expectations, and I actually, am very excited to see how they've sat back and thought about that over the last 81 days or so, and how they'll respond on Sunday. St Kilda are in the same boat. I mean, they really shouldn't have lost that game to North Melbourne, and that loss has been bubbling away at them for a long period of time. So probably St Kilda, the Dogs. If I had to pick a non-Dogs game, I'd probably say, strangely enough, Carlton and Melbourne. Strangely enough. I just think that game's going to be a 50-50 game. It could go either way. I've tipped Melbourne, but I'm not so confident. Of course, Harley Bennell's a great story. Looking forward to seeing him out there. Of course, Carlton, they've probably got a bit to prove, to be honest. Under a new coach, they're looking to rise up the ladder this season. Melbourne have got a bit to prove as well. That's going to be a very good game on Saturday. Bev, what game are you most excited for? Oh, I've already answered that. Luke, who's been your best on ground so far? I think it has to be still side bottom. He's been in amongst it. I actually think Taylor Adams has been very good as well. So they're probably the two, but I'd have to say side bottom is probably best on ground at the moment. I will be doing a 3-2-1 votes at the end of the game as well, by the way, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If the Tassie Devils ever make the grand final in your series, live stream it, please. That's actually been, funnily enough, Jake, actually, I can't live stream. At the moment, I can't live stream with my face and the gameplay. I don't have that functionality at the moment. But I was going to do the full game and I was going to premiere it. But obviously, we haven't made the grand final yet. But hopefully, in the third season, we do. By the way, the trade period will be out tomorrow. I have already recorded that, by the way. I have recorded. I've just got to edit it. So I know the players that I've recruited. And I will just give it away right now and say that one of the players I have recruited is from Collingwood. So make sure you watch out for that tomorrow, of course. The AFL Evo 2 Coach Career Series with the Tassie Devils. It is going to keep going with a third season. So looking forward to that. Both Richmond and Collingwood. Bev, are you excited and nervous for the Devils next season? I'm excited. I'm excited because like I just said, I recorded the Devils trade period today. And I'm really, really excited with some of the recruits that I've made and some of the trades I've made. I'm very, very excited. I think we've actually got the strongest team ever. So, just stick around for that. I don't want to give away too much because that's giving away before it actually releases. But just make sure you stay tuned for that tomorrow in the Arvo sometime. Bev, what do you think of the Atmos at the G? I'm actually not listening to the crowd effects on Channel 7 because I've got it on mute, so I can call the match without the distraction of Bruce and Brian commentating. So I actually haven't actually listened to it at the moment, although I did just check out a highlight just then with Bruce calling, and it sounded all right. I've been watching a little bit of NRL lately, and they've been using it as well, and it's been pretty good for them. So I reckon it's pretty good for the footy as well, but I'll look back, obviously, at the end of the game and see how it went. I'm going to be watching games over the weekend. This is the only called match I'm doing for the weekend, so I'll get to have a bit of a taste on the crowd effects as the weekend goes on. Jet Gaming says he wants me to say his name. Jack says, did you end up getting Jay Bevish? You'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to give that away. But you'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. Sure will. Hopefully we'll end up with a full 24-year Dazzy Devils or coach career. Don't know if I'm going that far, Jake. I'm not even sure if I'm going to go beyond 3 seasons. We'll just see how it goes. But I sort of was only planning to do 2 seasons, but because I haven't won a final and haven't won a grand final, I can't go out on that note. So we'll do a 3rd season at least, and then I'll decide. But obviously that's a fair way away, and we'll just worry about the present, Jake, instead of worrying about the future. Or the short-term future, you know what I mean. Who do you think will win? This game, I still think Richmond will win, but not confident because Collingwood are playing very well at the moment. Damo says, good job. Thank you very much, Damo. Really appreciate that. It's good to see some viewers of the Sunday night show, the Bev Show, tuning in. I usually do this on Facebook, but I've made the move to YouTube, and there's not as many people watching, but it is what it is. So we're not far away from the second half. Of course, Collingwood leading at the break. Just looking at some of the games tonight, coming up this weekend. Of course, I've spoken about a couple of them, but tomorrow night's going to be really interesting. Geelong and Hawthorn. And look, Geelong are going to get the big home ground advantage there at GMHBA Stadium. They know the ground well, but thinking back on it today, I reckon some of the Hawthorn players would have already played there, not with Hawthorn, but with teams before they got drafted, for example, in the Under-18 Championships or TAC Cup or whatever it is. So VFL as well, potentially. So maybe it's not as big of a ground advantage as we think, but I still think it is a big ground advantage, and that's why I've tipped Geelong, because I think with that ground advantage, they should be winning at least 3 of their next 4 games. I think they might win their next 4, to be honest, just on a side note. So looking forward to that game tomorrow night. At least get a premiership win. I'm feeling good about a premiership win in Season 3, but we'll obviously focus on getting to the finals first, because I think we're too focused on a premiership last season and not actually focusing on one thing at a time. So that's what it will be in Season 3. I'm commentary tomorrow night on Facebook. I'm not commentating any more matches this round. I'm just going to commentate the Thursday night matches. Maybe somewhere down the track I'll do some Friday night matches with potentially the Bunk Out with the Burnout show. He's currently unavailable at the moment. He was someone I was calling with last season on Facebook, but he's currently unavailable at the moment and won't be available until July. So I may call with him on Facebook. Where do you think Hawthorn will place? I think they're a chance to finish in the top 8 based on the round 1 performance and on the basis of some of the recruits they've made. I wasn't really happy with their pre-season, but then again, how much can you read into Marsh Community Series games? All right, going to take another break here on Bev's Footy Calls. We'll be back with the second half. It's Collingwood leading Richmond 33-19. Stay tuned here on the YouTube channel. All right, let's get the second half going. We're about to get into it. The teams are back on the ground. Will Collingwood hold on to this one? Or will it be Richmond that storm over the top and claim the 4 points? We're about to find out. Richmond were electric in the first half against Carlton, but then they fell in the second half. Didn't fall enough to lose the game, but they did put the foot off the gas in the second half in that game against Carlton. Of course, irrelevant really, because 81 days off. It's hard to really have those round one games as a guide, but they're the only guide we've got. So, here we go. The second half of Collingwood and Richmond. We're underway. And not the greatest of bounces to start, but the umpires let it go. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. As the ball's going to come back here because it's a free kick for Taylor Adams. So Adams kicks it inside 50. Nearly marked was Meyer. Check to go. He gets the crumb. And then it's a high ball in the air. And it's missed to the right of the goal face. So Hawley has the footy. He plays on. Elects to go to the far wing. And that's a very good mark by Asprey. In fact, it's Nathan Broad who's got the footy. So Nathan Broad handballs it quickly off to a teammate who goes to Basher Hawley. Now he goes down the ground, but it's been cut off by the Pies. It's Taylor Adams who cuts it off. Now he goes inboard. Main was there, but it's been spoiled. Now gathering the footy was Asprey. Dinky little kick to the centre of the ground. Higgins gathers it. Quick hands to Edwards. Now to Lambert. Lambert tries to be cheeky with the backwards handball. It didn't quite work. And Main has the footy now. Under pressure. Gets the handball off to Crisp. Now to Pendlebury. Pendlebury looks to the broadcast side wing. There's a player all by himself. It's Maynard. Now Maynard goes down the ground. And that's a really good mark by Darcy Cameron, the debutant. Now he quickly handballs it off to the man who kicked it to him, Braden Maynard. He kicks it inside 50. Jamie Elliott! He couldn't quite mark it, and it's been forced out of play by one of the Brown brothers. It is Callum Brown. So a boundary throw in inside 50 for the Pies. Grundy and Soldo in the ruck. Ball falls to ground. Sidebottom tries to pick it up. Soldo gets in there with his mitts as well. Now Prestia being tackled down to the ground by Adams, and it's going to be a ball up. A ball up deep inside 50 for the Pies. Up it goes. Soldo wins that one. Lambert's there. Hawley to Broad. Broad sends it out of there. It bounces over Maynard's head. Now Castagna. Not a bad handball, but it was turned over by Darcy Moore, and then he goes inside 50, and that's a great mark by Broad, who falls to his backside and hurts himself. And he's a bit stiff to get up, Nathan Broad. Wouldn't be a great feeling taking a mark like that and then falling on your backside. And the rate that he hit the ground at was very hard. So he goes the quick kick to a teammate. And the Tigers are in possession here. It's good to see, by the way, all the little graphics that are covering the seats. As the kick goes down the line for the Tigers. Now Crisp gets the footy out to Darcy Moore. He drops it. And now Bolton pounces. Kicks it inside 50. Martin's there. So too Lynch. Lynch tried to mark it. Martin with the crumb. He finds some space. Snap around the body. It's been nearly marked by Higgins. And he fumbles it through, does he? Or did it come off his boot? There's going to be a score review here. Maybe his toe poked it through. So the score review. Don't tell me he's kicked it. I don't think you can say that there's a goal in that. The first review of the night, by the way. Kind of forgot about the review system, to be honest, until now. But that doesn't look like... Or did it come off the... Oh, I don't know now. I'm looking at it again, and maybe it's just come off the leg. Maybe it's closer than you think. I don't know. But we'll have to await the decision. I personally think it's a bit inconclusive. In fact, it's a behind. So that's probably the right outcome. So Richmond getting a behind. Maynard with the ball. He kicks it down the broadcast wing. Grundy got a punch to it. And then it falls to the ground and bounces out for a boundary throw-in. What a goal that would have been for Jack Higgins, of course. Back tonight after 2 rounds of brain surgery. It's great to see him back out there. Soldo, Martin, beautiful to Bolton. And then Bolton inside 50. Lynch the target. Main, good spoil. Howe, not a great handball. Worked in the end though. Maynard lost it. Now Madgen to Howe, sends it down the line, one-on-one, Grundy and Soldo. It bounces in towards Baker, who gets a hand to it. Now here is Lambert. He got a handball away before he was tackled. Hawley, dinky little kick, nearly marked there by the Pies. Now Dacos, I think it might have been a side bottom, but side bottom clears it out, but it's only momentarily because it's been coughed up by Prestia. He goes inside 50, and that's been coughed up by Pendlebury. So turnover after turnover here by both teams. Pendlebury sends it down the centre square. Now DeGoey, one of the most exciting players on the ground. He kicks it to the direction of Elliott. Grimes is there. Now Will Hoskin Elliott handballs it over to a Pies teammate in Tom Phillips. He's been wrapped up by Grimes. And it's going to be a ball up, I think, by the umpire as we see Nathan Buckley on the phone. So it's a 14-point lead to the Pies in the early stages of the third quarter. Pendlebury being ragged down, doled down by Sydney Stack. And it's going to be a ball up. Pendlebury got a handball away. Side bottom, under pressure by Bolton. Now Hoskin Elliott trying to bust his way through, and I think that might be holding the ball. Tackled down by Rioli. And Daniel Rioli gets the free. So Rioli goes short. Hits up Bolton. Out wide. Bolton now off to Broad. Broad kicks down the line. Pack of players. Maynard at the back. Dusty is as well. And Higgins just lets it roll out of play for a boundary throw-in. Just outside the Tigers' forward 50. So boundary throw in. Grundy nearly won that one, although I think it went over their heads. Main tries to gather the footy. I think it might have been Graham getting it to Prestia. Now Prestia sends it inside 50 and taking the mark was Jeremy Howe. Beautifully done. Now Howe sends it over to Crisp. Crisp now sends it down the line. It goes over heads and Vlostone takes the mark. They're claiming for a free here, Collingwood. It's Josh Thomas who's claiming for the free, but he's not going to get it. As Baker receives the kick from Vlostone, he marks. And Richmond just being patient here. Baker. Kicked inside 50. Pack of players. Pendlebury was one of them. He got his fists to it. Now Rioli to Martin. Martin nearly taken high potentially. And he's going to get the free. So Martin gets the free. He goes quickly inside 50. Not a great kick from Dusty. He's went straight to an opposition player. It was Jack Madgen. He's turned it over a couple of times tonight, Dusty. Jeremy Howe to full back to Roughhead, who then goes back to Maynard with the handball, and then they switch it over the Pies. Crisp, short, to Dacos. Josh Dacos. Now short to his skipper, Josh Pendlebury. Gee, he's been getting in the game since the second quarter. A bit quiet in the first, I thought. But he's been getting into the game ever since. Oh, good mark! Grimes. Watched the flight of the footy perfectly. Now he gives it off and the Tigers might be away here. They're switching it over. I can see Tigers players all by themselves. Here's Graham. Short to a teammate. I think it might be Higgins. Now Higgins goes short to Asprey. And they're going to go short to each other here. Vlostone in the centre square. Kicks it down the line. Skipper Cochin takes the mark on the AFL logo. He kicks it quickly inside 50, hoping for a mark by Rewald. He's been a bit quiet tonight, Jack Rewald. Ball spills to ground. Pendlebury gets a handball away to Still side bottom. He's having a great game, Still side bottom. And so is this man, Josh Dacos. He kicks it down the line. It comes off hands. Brody Myercheck was there, nearly marked to Thomas now. Got it to Myercheck. Quick hands to Brown. It's Callum Brown. Now it's Josh Thomas rather getting a kick away. Edwards, though, gets a handball away. Now here's Crisp. Got the handball away to Tyler Brown. Now Josh Dacos to Thomas. Kicks it down the line. They get a kick away here, Collingwood. 2-on-1 situation favouring the Tigers, and that's a good mark by Asprey. So Asprey short to Cochin. Now Cochin to Bolton. In fact, it might be Sydney Stack. Sydney Stack goes into Marlon Pickett. It slips through his hands. And now Collingwood are away here. Pendlebury receives a handball. And then he goes short to the debutant Darcy Cameron. Back to Pendlebury. Over the top to Degoe. Degoe inside 50. Hoping for a mark from Myercheck, and he's got it. The Collingwood fans say woohoo as he plays on and kicks it into the man on the mark. What were you doing there, Myercheck? He should have went back and kicked the goal. Now here's Richmond. A chance here for Broad to clear it out, and they do. So after all that, the Tigers come away with it. And my goodness me, I thought Myercheck was going to go on and kick another goal. We haven't had a goal here in this third term rather, as Collingwood get the free kick. Jack Madgen. Richmond kick it out of play on the full. Inside 50. Brodie Grundy at the back. Spoils it for Soldo. Now Hawley to Higgins. Higgins sends it down the line into the centre square. Dustin's there, but so is Jeremy Howe. They fight for the footy. Jeremy Howe falls to the ground. Martin picks it up, gives the don't argue, tries to give another one a don't argue, then spills the footy. Noble spills the footy. Maynard's been crunched. Gee whiz. It's a tough game out there at the moment, and we're going to have a ball up. Well, he was successful, Dustin Martin, in giving Maynard the don't argue, but not the other one. Grundy wins the tap. Pendlebury tries to pick it up. Lynch quick hands to Cochin. Cochin inside 50, but it's not going to go far. Jeremy Howe. Quick kick outside 50. Hawley coughs it up. So, Richmond have a chance to compose themselves here. 12.5 minutes played. Not a single goal in this third term. Lots of come on pie comments in the chat as the ball bounces out close to Richmond's forward 50, and it's going to be a boundary throw in. Dustin Martin on the phone. Dimmer's saying something to him. Side bottom, by the way, 22 disposals, the highest disposal getter of the game. Ball at ground level, side bottom, quick hands. Dacos, Dacos, he's been impressing me tonight. He's got the footy here, and he gives the quick hands off to Pendlebury. Now Pendlebury kicks it down the line. 1-on-1. They both fall to ground here. It was Asprey and Myercheck, and Asprey comes away with the free kick. So Vlostone now to Baker. Inside the defensive 50. They switch it here, the Tigers. Sydney, in fact, it might be Graham. Goes to a teammate in short, I think it is. So short. Oh, Sydney Stack leaped up from behind, but it's fell at the back, and now De Goey got it from Noble. That's a dinky little kick from De Goey inside the defensive 50. Now Bolton puts the pressure on Pendlebury. Didn't work though. Pendlebury got the footy back. He received a handball from Dacos. He kicks it out to centre wing, interchange side. And now Baker's got the footy. Baker takes on Myercheck, takes a bounce, then kicks it to a man all by himself. It's Lambert. So Lambert has the footy outside 50 for the Tigers. What will he do here, Lambert? He looks inside 50. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Rewalt was the target, I think. It fell to the back. Brodie Grundy handballs it off to Howe. Howe sends it outside 50. One-on-one, Pendlebury and Lambert coming in to try and mark it was Jaden Short. Now with the footy is Callum Brown. He gets a handball over the top to side bottom, and side bottom has been pressured out of play by Asprey, and it's going to be a ball in. It might not be the best game of footy, but it's just so good to have footy back. You put an evident out of that. As we see the ball in, Grundy beats Lynch. Prestia keeps it in front of him and then forces it out of play, and he's appealing for a free kick. So ball back into play. Grundy. De Goey got a handball away in the nick of time. Cochin kicks it out of bounds on the full. And we're going to have a ball in. We are going to have a ball in. So ball back into play, and I think that might be Noble with the footy. Goes out wide. Maynard has the footy. Down the line. Good mark. Stretch to the arms by Adams. Sends it short to Grundy. Now Grundy hits up Elliott. So they're hitting up targets at the moment here, Collingwood, working their way inside the 50. Elliott inside 50. Oh, there was a big leap there. I think it might have been Dacos potentially. Now handball away from Richmond to Hawley. Hawley falls to ground, so does the ball. It comes out short, pushed it out. Now Phillips to Grundy. Grundy's handball wasn't great. Oh, gee, I think that might have nutmegged Noble there, that ball. And Noble has a second crack at it, but he's been forced out of play, and it's going to be a boundary throw-in. So 3:13 on the clock. We still haven't seen a goal in this quarter. That's 16 and a half played. Thomas had it, lost it. I think that might be, in fact, De Goey has been wrapped up. So it's going to be ball up. A few too many players with blonde hair out there for my liking. As Cochin, dinky little kick away. Comes off hands to Noble. Noble gets a kick up in the air. It only goes as far as Baker. Now Baker goes inside 50. Richmond have the numbers, but so do Collingwood. And Rewalt nearly marked it. Madgen, though, spoiled the footy. Bolton now peeling for holding. Lambert now, and I think it might be a free kick to Bolton. He did appeal for it, and I thought at the time that it might be a free kick to him because he was being held. So Shea Bolton has a chance to kick the first goal of the third quarter. And they'll reduce the margin to 8 points if Bolton was to kick it. So Shai Bolton, he should kick it, and he does. So Shai Bolton reduces the margin to 8. And Nathan Buckley is not liking what he's seeing. So Shai Bolton becomes the only player other than Tom Lynch to kick a goal for Richmond in this game. Of course, Tom Lynch with 3 goals, Bolton with 1 now. behind to Lynch, and I think it might have been a rush behind that one that was reviewed. So 2 behinds and 1 goal in the third quarter as the umpire stuffs up the bounce. So it's going to be a throw up. Soldo and Grundy. Soldo got his hands to it, but Grundy was able to get the clearance. That's not what you like to see from a Soldo perspective. Grimes got a spoil. Hawley was able to gather it. Now Baker, quick hands to Prestia. Prestia now goes out to the wing, and all on his own is guess who? Dustin Martin. He looks really good, Dustin Martin, but I don't think he's played the best tonight. Martin sends it to a pack of players. Soldo in that pack. Prestia, he's everywhere. Got the handball to Cochin. Cochin got a kick away under pressure. High ball. Lynch was surrounded by a couple of Collingwood players, and Graham has been forced out of play with the footy. So it's going to be a ball in, just inside 50 for the Tigers. 29 inside 50s to 25 favouring the Tigers in this match. So they've got it in there, the Tigers, but they haven't been able to score enough to get themselves in front in this match. That has to change if they're going to win it, the reigning premiers. Baker gets a dinky little kick away to Dustin Martin. He spills it. Cochin comes in and crumbs it. Now Graham. Baker. High ball inside 50. There's a couple of players forming. Rewild's one of them. So is Howe. And is that a mark by Jeremy Howe? I think it is. So Tasmanian v Tasmanian going toe-to-toe there as Jeremy Howe kicks it out to the interchange wing. Now trying to mark it was Vlostone, but he didn't do very well. It fell in the hands of Darcy Cameron, the debutant. So Darcy Cameron down the line. Still side bottom, maybe the target. Vlostone got a hand to it. Grundy was able to keep it in, but then handball it to the opposition in Graham. Now Baker to Vlostone. Vlostone over to Dustin Martin. He's got time and space here. He taps it on the ground, Dustin Martin, instead of bouncing it. Then he goes to Prestia. Now Prestia to Hawley. Hawley stuffs up the kick. Gee whiz, they were away there, Richmond, but they stuffed it up. Luckily, though, Short gets it. He handballs it to Prestia. Now Martin for his first goal of the game. It's a behind. Or is it a mark? Higgins marked it. But has he marked it inside play? They're going to go to a video review with 22 seconds left on the clock. Gee whiz, if Higgins has marked it, it could be an important shot on the verge of three-quarter time. Let's have a look at the replay. I thought, well, he's out, but is the ball out? Don't forget the whole ball has to be crossing the line before he marks it. And from the angles I'm seeing, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I am not sure. So I'm going to leave this in the hands of the people in power. By the way, how good is this cardboard cutouts look? I'm loving them. And it's no score. It's no score, so it's a mark. It's been paid a mark. But Jack Higgins has to kick it on a tight angle. So an important kick on the verge of three-quarter time. Let's have a look. Jack Higgins, he's got it. He's got it. Magical scenes at the G. Jack Higgins back in the side and he kicks a ripper-dipper from an angle. It's a 2-point ball game. Yes, that's right, a 2-point ball game. Have a look at this. Well, firstly, it was the decision. And I really don't know if he kept it in, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. But look at the goal. Around the body. Slotting it through. What a moment for Jack Higgins. So back in the middle we go. This game is on! It's on like Donkey Kong! And Cochin gets a kick inside 50. The Tigers might put themselves in front here, maybe. Coming in was Bolton, trying to pick it up. He's been put under pressure by Noble. Noble slipped the ground with the footy. Now Lynch received a handball, kicks it towards goal, and spoiling it out was Howe. And that is three-quarter time, folks. Three-quarter time. And after a period of time of not seeing any goals at all, we saw two late goals from the Tigers, and they trail by 2 points. Collingwood 5-4-34, lead the Tigers rather 5-2-32. It's on at the MCG. It is on. Do not go anywhere. This is Bev's Footy Calls, Collingwood and Richmond, the game that reboots the 2020 season. It's going to be a massive last quarter. Stay tuned. All the action coming up after this. Welcome back to Bev's Footy Calls, and it's Collingwood taking on Richmond, and it's a 2-point ball game after Collingwood kicked the first 4 goals of the match. They've only kicked 1 goal in the second and third quarters combined. They didn't kick a single goal in that third term, and Richmond have worked their way back into this contest, and as I said, they only trail by 2 points, so you won't want to go anywhere. You won't want to remove yourself from your TV screens. Do not turn this commentary off because there's a massive last quarter to come. Let's just recap the goals. Tom Phillips for Collingwood has kicked 2, and then the other goal kickers for the Pies, singles to Adams, Brown and Sidebottom. For Richmond, Lynch, he kicked the first 3 goals for Richmond of the match. Shai Bolton and Jack Higgins with singles. That Higgins one is a little bit controversial. Whether that ball was out or not, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that's a little bit of a controversial moment to start the 2020 season again, I suppose. And we're having a look at the replay here as I talk about it. Yeah, not sure, to be honest. I saw the side angle and I just wasn't really sure. Yeah, I wasn't really sure, but I mean, yeah, I don't know, but it's a controversial moment, so we'll see how much impact that here has on the game moving forward. Still, Sidebottom's been fantastic tonight, 23 disposals. Pendlebury's really worked himself into the game. He's been getting a lot of the footy, 21 disposals, and then Cochin is the best for Richmond, 20 disposals, followed by Hawley also with 20 disposals. I reckon still Sidebottom is the best on ground at the moment, but gee, you can make a case for Basher Hawley, who's taken 7 marks, 20 disposals. He's having a great game as well. Taylor Adams has had a fair bit of the footy as well. So, we're about to start the third term. The first game of round 2. I hope you're enjoying this. I really am. I know it was a bit scrappy in that third quarter, but I'm just grateful to have footy back. And I think those people whinging and raving about the game, the standard of the game, are just too hard to please. Probably couldn't be pleased in bed, to be honest. That's how bad they are. But this game, it's good to have footy back. And this game could go down to the wire. It's Collingwood by 2 points to start the 4th term. Thursday night footy. Don't forget, I'll be doing this every Thursday for the next 4 weeks. So here we go. What does the final term have in store for us? The umpire is about to bounce the footy. He has. It's underway. And we're going to get a recall. So the umpire has thrown the ball up. No one really won that contest between Soldo and Grundy. Now, Pendlebury's handball was intended for De Goey. Instead, Hawley gathered the footy. Quick hands to Prestia. Now, he kicks it to a one-on-one. Maynard has been given a free kick. He had his eyes on the footy and his opponent didn't. So, a free kick to Maynard. Half-back flank. He's just going to kick it down the line. Interchange side. Pack of players forming. It comes off hand Soldo to still Sidebottom, who's then wrapped up by a couple of Tigers. And we're going to have a ball up. So back up the ball goes. No one really won that ruck contest either. And now Edwards getting a kick away after Pendlebury gave him the footy. Crisp. Tackled down by Sydney Stack. And it's going to be a ball up. The umpire has declared it a ball up. No one won that ruck contest either. Gee whiz. As Richmond get the clearing kick from that stoppage. More nearly marked it. Rewalt Had the footy, lost it. Lambert came in to kick it off the ground, unsuccessful. Now De Goey, quick hands to Maynard. Maynard, quick hands to Pendlebury. And then he goes to a one-on-one. Josh Thomas is in that one-on-one for Collingwood, but Prestia ended up with it. Now he gets the quick hands to Short. Short now goes to a teammate. He goes inside 50. Lynch nearly marks. Roughhead came in to put him off. Now the ball's at ground level. Roughhead is there along with Rewalt. And they're fighting over the footy, and the umpire says, I'll separate yous. So back up it goes. Grundy won that one. Pendlebury gets the clearing kick from the stoppage. It goes to the centre of the ground, but it's been marked by Asprey. So Asprey, short kick to the skipper, Cochin, and he goes inside 50. There's a lead being made by Rewalt. Didn't quite get to him, but now it does. He wheels around, snaps for goal. Not going to make the distance. It's at the top of the goal square. Comes off hands. Howe to Pendlebury. Now Pendlebury disguising that rush behind. So Howe with the kick out. He goes to Maynard. Maynard now to Dacos. So they work themselves outside the defensive 50 here, the Pies. Dacos up the ground. Hawley's there, but oh, well done. Adams marks the footy and keeps it away from Hawley. Now he goes inboard to the skipper in Pendlebury. Gee, Scott Pendlebury's playing very, very well. He goes across to Crisp, who then goes out wide to Howe, who then kicks it down the line. Now, I think that might be, is it potentially Noble, who gets it to Myercheck. Now, Myercheck, inside 50, pack of players. Hawley, well done. Leaped up in the air, got the spoil, and it bounces through for a rush behind. So taking the kick out is Grimes. 35-33. Collingwood have the lead. 2-point margin. Richmond under pressure here slightly. Collingwood could pounce here. Check side from De Goey. And De Goey misses. He misses to the right. And Richmond take the quick play on here. Vlostone with the footy. Vlostone. Up it goes. Pack of players. Lynch was in amongst it. Falls to ground. They scramble for the footy. It's just coming out slightly, but it's still bubbling around. I think the umpire might have to ball this up, or will he? It's come out. Dustin Martin. No, the umpire's going to ball it up. In fact, it's going to be a free kick. A free kick to Tom Phillips. So Tom Phillips for his third goal of the game. 2 goals, 1 behind. He's outside 50. He's going to pop it to the top of the goal square. Soldo's there, and Soldo marks with basically no pressure. Now he gives the handball off to Short. And then Short sends it over to Castagna over the top. Castagna is wide. Back flank position. Looks down the line, kicks it in that direction. Pack of players. Rewalt's there. Grundy's there also, and Grundy marks. Gee whiz, every time Richmond try to go to Rewalt, he's just completely unable to get the footy. Crisp inside 50. Asprey tried to mark the defensive ball. Cochin now to Hawley. Hawley quick hands to, I think it might be Prestia. Now Prestia in the Soldo direction. De Goey tried to spoil it. Soldo tried to get it back. De Goey comes in. In fact, it's Howe who comes in and gets it. But he coughs it up, and now Castagna. Lambert inside 50. One-on-one there. Lynch and Roughhead. Roughhead waits for the bounce. He then collects. Lynch puts him under pressure, and it's forced out of play for a boundary throw-in. So the ball inside 50 for the Tigers, potentially a chance for them to take the front. It's Collingwood by 3 points. Collingwood have had 107 contested possessions in this match. Grundy, beautifully done, gets the hit out to Crisp. He clears the footy out. That's what they do so well, Collingwood. They do some great defensive work. Now Callum Brown to I think it might have been Darcy Cameron, but he turns it over and now Richmond go inside 50. Lynch gives the little nudge in the back to Roughhead and then Lynch looks towards goal and absolutely makes a meal of it. He kicks it across the face. It bounces and bounces out of play. That's okay, I think, by the way. It was a little tap in the back. It wasn't a push, it was a touch. So well done. Good umpiring. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see a little tap in the back be paid a push, as Vostone has it in the centre of the ground. He goes short. Now, I think it might be Castagna. High ball inside 50. Leaping up was Rewald. He got hands to it. Main now has the footy. He's dragged Dole down to the ground. And as Roughhead tries to suck him in and get himself back up on his 2 feet, we're going to have a ball up. Grundy gets a double tap to Lynch, and Lynch has a behind directly in front. I think it might have been smothered on the way through. And Richmond, a golden opportunity to hit the front has been wasted. That's his second behind, Tom Lynch. So Crisp. Back flank. Kicks it towards the interchange. Dacos. Got it out to Elliott. Now Elliott's away. He takes a bounce. Gets the handball off to one of the Brown brothers. And then he goes out wide to Adams. He's already kicked a goal today, Adams. And then Adams squaring it up. And that's a good bit of play by Collingwood. And here's Tom Phillips with the footy. So Tom Phillips. 2 goals for Tom Phillips. He's a fair way out, Tom Phillips. He kicks just inside 50. It's a low kick that goes out of bounds on the fall. So Richmond get the free kick. They kick it down the line. Roughhead's there, so is Grundy. They both get hands to it. Falls to ground. Pendlebury beautifully done to Adams. Now, in fact, it was Phillips to Adams, and then Adams gets tackled down. And it's going to be a ball up, a stoppage with 8.5 to go in this match. We've played just over 9 minutes. Martin has the footy. Kicks it across the ground. Gee, that's a dangerous looking kick. And it's proved to be the case because Myercheck has taken a beautiful chest mark. He's turned it over left, right and centre, Dustin Martin. You don't often see it. But we're seeing it tonight in the first game back for the AFL in 81 days. So Brodie Myercheck to kick his first goal of the match and to extend the lead for the Pies. It's not going to make the distance. It's been punched and still into play, and now it bounces out of play. And we're going to have a ball in inside 50 for the Pies. You just feel like this game has 1 or 2 goals left in it. Look at that, by the way. Look at that, the lack of staff there tonight. You usually see about 500 in the coach's box. An over-exaggeration, I know, but it does feel like it as Phillips gets a kick away, but it's been intercepted by Prestia. Now, Prestia's kick ended up with Martin, who got the ricochet from Noble. Now, he goes out wide to a teammate, and then he sends it down the line, and it's Tom Lynch with the footy. Tom Lynch, 3 goals, 2 behinds. He has it on the interchange wing. What will he do here, Tom Lynch? He goes down the line, hoping for someone to mark, hoping for his teammate in Jack Rewald to finally take a mark. I tell you what, I don't think he's taken a single mark tonight as we see Jack Madgen with the footy locked up and it's going to be a ball up. Bit unusual for Jack Rewald. He's taken 1 mark, I beg your pardon, as side bottom to a teammate who then clears it out. But it's only gone as far as Richmond, and now Hawley has the footy. So Hawley. High ball inside 50. Lynch is there, but Rewald holds his ground. And Rewald takes the chest mark. A chance here for Rewald to get himself involved in the game. You never know, this could be the winning goal. It's been such a low-scoring affair, especially in the second half. Let's have a look for Jack Rewald's first goal. He kicked 3 goals in the game against Carlton. No! He hasn't made the distance. And then in the end it was marked. Oh my golly gumballs. What did I just see from Jackie boy? Hawley gets the crumb. Handballs it off. Now Broad, quick hands to Graham. Graham, quick hands to a teammate. I think it might have been Asprey. He's mucked up the kick. He's turned it over. Now Collingwood might be away here. Dacos, Pendlebury, side bottom, kicks it down the line. Nearly cut off by the Tigers. Hawley nearly had it. Now Callum Brown looks for a handball while taking on a heap of them. Handballs it to Dacos in the end. Sends it inside 50. Now Grimes has the footy. Grimes, good defensive work. The handball from Baker worked out. It wasn't pretty, but it worked out. Now Vlostone has the footy, but it's going to be a free kick to the Tigers. Baker has the footy. So Baker goes out to the wing. High fly by someone there. I think it might have been Castagna, and it's bounced out of play. Well, that was just weird from Jack Rewald. It looked like it was going to hit the post, and it didn't even make the distance. Would have went through if it had some more power on it, I bet, as the kick comes inside 50 for the Tigers. Higgins put under pressure by Noble, but it's a free. Front on contact by Noble. Nathan Buckley's going bananas. And Higgins has got the free kick and a chance to put the Tigers in front for the first time tonight. Under 5 minutes left. 14 minutes gone, and Higgins misses it to the right. 93 fantasy and 28 disposals of penalties. That's what I like to see because he's my fantasy captain in my draft fantasy, I should say. As the kick comes out to the wing, Darcy Cameron stood his ground and nearly marked it and then went back in for a second piece. Now Martin gets help from his teammate to gather the footy. Now that kick was very clever from Dustin Martin. Kicked it low, dribbly, and it dribbles out of play for a boundary throw-in. .98 fantasy points for Basher Hawley. Imagine. In fact, it was Darcy Cameron who got the hit out there. Now the kick comes out from the Pies. They're claiming for deliberate, and they're not going to get it. So it's a point the difference at the home of footy. It's great to have footy back, isn't it? We're seeing a blockbuster here. It's low scoring, but it's tight. Cochin got it from Lynch. Gee whiz, incorrectly disposed of it and then got it back, but it's going to be a free kick, is it? I think it is. Adams and Cochin giving each other the works. So Adams down the line. Brodie Grundy flew. So did Soldo. Maynard got a handball away, but it was intercepted. Oh, my goodness me. The volley underground ball from Shane Edwards out of play to disguise it as a rushed out of bounds. We're going to have a ball in centre wing. Grundy. Lambert. Tackled by Dacos. Umpire deemed it correct. Now kick has been spoiled out of play by Howe, I think it was. And we're going to have a ball in. Eddie Maguire's at the ground tonight. The president of the football club, of course. Is that the same seat he sits in when he's at the matches with the crowds? I don't know, as the ball rolls out of play for another stoppage. So not long to go in this one. 3:21 left. It's a point the difference. 36-35. Richmond, they haven't been in front all night. You feel like it would be a robbery if they were to steal it now. But they have probably been the better team in this second half at least. Maybe adding the second quarter to that as well. Now Bolton gets the scraps from the contest. Kicks it towards goal. Now Castagna's got to be clever here. And it's been rushed behind and it's a level. It's level. The scores are level. 3 minutes to play. We couldn't have a draw on night one back. On the first night back for 81 days, could we? As the ball's been punched away and just kept in for the meantime, but Main rushes it through for a boundary throw-in. We couldn't have, could we? We couldn't have a draw. You wouldn't be surprised with the way the game has been played tonight. Back into play, Grundy. DeGoey. Sydney Stack was able to get a handball away. Now still side bottom ends up with the footy. Side bottom down the line. Trying to mark it there was Brody Myercheck. And Brody Myercheck has rushed it out of play for a boundary throw-in. 2.5 minutes to go. Richmond have had 53% of time in forward half. They've had a lot of it inside 50, but they haven't made the most of it, of course. Hoskin Elliott, in fact, it was Myercheck, ran into trouble, lost it. Now, DeGoey. Cochin. Got a handball out. Still side bottom, gathered it, but then Prestia and Bolton pounce all over him, and we're going to have a ball up. 2:09 to go. Every footy fan will be licking their lips right now over this clash. It's a genuine blockbuster. Main has the footy, ran into trouble. We're going to get another stoppage. It's a gritty contest out there, a nitty-gritty contest. Who's going to win it? We don't know. From the stoppage, the umpire has pulled out a free kick. Soldo is going to take it. Grundy gives it away. Bolton. In fact, it might be Sydney. No, it's Bolton, actually, who kicks it inside 50. Pack of players, it comes off hands. DeGoey. Prestia received a handball. Now Main's got it. So Collingwood's got it back here. Grundy. Composed. Handball to Maynard. Now he goes to Noble. Noble. Good kick to still side bottom. He just needed to hang on to it and he didn't. Now Penderbury's got the footy. Turn it over to Soldo. Main straight onto him. Richmond back in possession. Lambert spills the footy. Now a chance here for DeGoey. He's spin around by Dustin Martin. He spills it. Still side bottom tries to pick it up. Main now to Noble. Noble gets the clearing kick down the line. Now lost over with a hand to it. Hawley gets the handball away. Richmond get a kick inside 50. Pack of players. Grundy try to save the day. Pies have the numbers out the back. And now Howe's got the footy. So with 42 seconds left, Crisp out wide. Tom Phillips, 37 seconds. Richmond have it in their 50, but Collingwood have the footy. Adams with the ball. Looks down the line. He plays on. Short, skimmy kick, and it's Crisp. Crisp with the footy. Oh, you couldn't believe it, could you, if we get a draw? Collingwood sent it down the line. Oh, good mark. Asprey, he's been told to play on, though. Darcy Cameron, oh, good scoop up. Tom Phillips, now a chance here for Collingwood. Thomas takes Cochin on. And Thomas, oh, he gets it to Callum Brown. He couldn't mark it. And the ball's out of play. I think that might be it. I think that might be it. Gee whiz, I thought Callum Brown was going to mark it there. I thought he was going to have the kick after the siren. What a game this is. What a way to reboot the season. It's a draw. You wouldn't have imagined it in your wildest dreams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable! 5-6 apiece. 36. What a way to reboot the season. Unbelievable. I'm just trying to find the right words to describe this. Oh my God. Oh God. Just have to take my breath. 5-6, 36 apiece. Unbelievable. The coaches don't know what to do. And I guess this brings up the argument. Should there be a golden goal? Should there be a golden goal if there's a draw in a regular season? I quite like this, to be honest. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? Oh, let's just catch our breaths for a moment. Let's just catch our breaths for a moment. Sink in what has happened. So some people were saying extra time and golden point. It probably wouldn't have been ideal in this point of the season because obviously the players are coming back from an isolation period. Only having a few weeks to get match fit. But wow, unbelievable. So let's just wrap up the game, shall we, while we look at the scenes that are unfolding on the telly. So the final score is 5-6, 36 to 5-6, 36. You wouldn't have imagined it in your wildest dreams that this would happen to reboot the season. Let's have a look at the goal kickers for each team. For Collingwood, Tom Phillips kicked 2 goals. Adams, Brown, side bottom with singles. And as for the Tigers, Lynch, he kicked 3 goals. Higgins with 1 and Bolton with 1. Leading disposal getters for Collingwood, Scott Pendlebury. I think he was best on ground. I'll give you my 3-2-1 votes in just a second. But Pendlebury on 31 points. Side bottom on 27. Disposals, that is. And Dacos on 24. And as for Richmond, Hooley with 26 disposals. Cochin with 23. And Martin with 20. So the players just don't know what to do in this situation. They're all standing around thinking, what the heck do I do? What the heck do I do? So, wow, unbelievable. Now, I'm just compiling my my 3-2-1 votes here so I can give them to you. So these are going to be my 3-2-1 votes. I'll give them to you in a sec. As we see Scott Pendlebury speaking on ground. I think that might be to Daisy Pearce. Unbelievable that we've got a draw. So I'm just compiling my 3-2-1 votes here. I'm going to give one vote to... Oh, this is tough. This is very, very tough. But I am going to go one vote to... Still side bottom. I thought he was enormous tonight, especially in the early stages. He probably got a little bit quiet there in the back end, but he's still got plenty of the footy. 2 votes I've given Basher Hooley. 26 disposals, took 8 marks. He was crucial in Richmond's defence tonight, and I've given the 3 votes to Scott Pendlebury. So let me know your votes in the comments below. I know we all have different opinions, but that's my 3-2-1 votes. Still Sidebottom the 1 vote, Basher Hawley the 2 votes, and 3 votes to Scott Pendlebury. So as we see the players making their way off the ground, so just repeating my votes, it was still Sidebottom 1 vote, Basher Hawley 2 votes, and Scott Pendlebury 3 votes. Whether that's what the votes will be when the Brownlow comes, I do not know. But as they make their way off the ground, this is the only match at the MCG for the weekend, so we won't see a game here at the MCG until next Thursday night. Looking forward to calling again next Thursday night. Richmond and Hawthorn next week, so I'll be calling Richmond again. And of course, we're going to get a look at Hawthorn tomorrow night, so I'll be calling them against Richmond. That's next Thursday night from 7:30. Of course, Bev's Footy calling the next next 4 Thursday night matches, including this one. We've got a Dogs game to look forward to, Swans and Dogs, and also West Coast and Richmond in 4 weeks' time, but the next game will be Richmond and Hawthorn. That will be the next game I'll be calling. Collingwood next week. Who do they have next week? I think they might have the St Kilda, so that's interesting. That will be at the MCG. So there will be no celebrations or no club songs sung because it's a draw. We see Mason Cox. That's interesting. Mason Cox is there. He's a non-competing player. I thought players that weren't competing, but maybe he's an emergency, so maybe that's why he's there, along with Jaden Stevenson. So we're just about to wrap up the first edition of Bev's Footy Calls for 2020. I really hope you enjoyed it. Wherever you may be listening and watching from around the globe, what a reboot. What a game to reboot the season. I know it was scrappy and low scoring, but it was tight towards the finish. And in the end, the teams, they couldn't separate each other. 36 apiece. Thanks very much for your company once again. Please give this live stream a like, a comment. Please share it around. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more footy calls. Until next time, enjoy the rest of round 1. Make sure you tune into the Bev Show on Sunday night, 9 p.m. on the Facebook page. Until then, catch you later.